today inspires ideas and discussions around helpful ways to each and every one. Thank you, and now I'll leave the mic to Dr. Mohammed.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for accepting our invitation to our fourth seminar. Actually, we started organizing this seminar 4 years ago. This is the fourth edition of the seminar. We think it's a kind of payback to our clients. Most of our guests are our clients or our future clients, inshallah. We think it's a way to get together. We don't get a chance to talk outside the projects or the workshops. So we think it's a good opportunity for all of us to meet, talk, and discuss future opportunities with our strategic partners who participate as speakers in these events. Let me go quickly through the different strategic partners who were speakers in our previous events, because I think it's I owe it to them actually. Our first event, it was in 2016. We had Mrs. Randa Abu from Creative Lab Group, which was a marketing company. She talked about real estate marketing. Then Helmut Schulz from Roland Berger, and Mr. Ahmed Temer from Expromark, which was an HR consulting firm from Egypt. In our second year, we had a selected group of consultants as well. Perry Brown from WATG, Mr. Mansour Ahmed from Colliers, Or Rauser from Roland Berger, and Karim Hillel from Colliers. Last year we had Kona Gray from EDSA, Mansour Ahmed from Colliers, Ricardo Nuno from Perkins Eastman, and Robert Lamar from Lower Cultural Resources. And this year, as Minna just mentioned, we had a selected group of architects / planners from different consulting firms, and we think their input is very important in this stage, as Egypt is doing a lot of master planning and landscape in the new cities that they are founding. And I'm sure most of the international consultants who are here today have that feeling that Egypt is a boom. I was in Dubai a couple of weeks ago. I met with Rula, and everybody there thinks that Egypt is a boom in Egypt. So I think your presence here and the presence of our selected group of consultants is very important to, I would say, to enrich planning and landscape experience. So thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy our day. One last thing. After we finish our last speaker today, we will distribute some sort of a survey for you to give us your feedback on our day. One thing I would just ask you is to our team, our KNA Designs team, is the only organizer. So all the efforts done in the organization and the hosting here is done by KNA team. So I would like to thank them first, and I will thank them again by the end of the day. So let's start with Kim Gardner from SWA.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? There. Okay. My name is Kinder Baumgartner from SWA. And I'm in our Houston, Texas office, but we have offices across the United States, China, and other places like that. And I've been working in Cairo for, gosh, I don't know, almost 20 years, I guess. I think the first time I came here was to work on the American University project. And that was a lot of fun. But since then, we've been engaged with things out at Medenti, we've worked with Travco, with Sodig, with Palm Hills, lots of different people. And there's one thing that we always fight about on projects, and it's this nature word. So I thought, what am I going to talk about? Let's talk about the thing that we always fight about. So I can kind of push my agenda on you guys. How's that? But no, in all seriousness, following up on what Mohammed was saying, I mean, it was difficult trying to figure out what to talk about because Egypt is growing so fast. There's urban design issues that are happening downtown. There's huge master planning projects that are further out in the suburbs. There's landscape architecture. And I think what I really kind of wanted to work on was this word that we don't use a lot as designers and engineers and architects, and it's beauty. And that's really a thing that I think drives, or should drive, a lot of development that happens, especially in new communities. How to make these places beautiful so that people want to spend time there. So, here we go. So, SWA, we have projects around the world. I'm not going to dwell on that too much. We have staff from around the world, so we speak all these different languages and understand all these different cultures. We have a process that we go through that really tries to dig into critiquing our work, right? We want to go through, we come up with ideas, we want to tear those ideas apart, we want to put them back together again in new and unique ways. And I think that's probably the thing that we're most proud of, is that that approach of just constantly rethinking design and pushing the limits. Part of how we do that, we have a lab that we use that does a lot of innovation work for us. They're always helping us come up with new materials, new ways of thinking, and also just putting research in front of our designers so that we're always aware of the latest ideas out there in the world. So things that we've done recently, so the Burj Khalifa, that's not too new, but that's a big project that we completed in Dubai a number of years ago. We do a lot of work in New York. This is a project that looks out across, kind of right there, this is the United Nations building. This is a big park. We're going to look at that in more detail in a bit. Big shopping districts. This is one in Utah. We do work with Google and a lot of different tech companies working on their campuses and things like that. And a lot of that gets into the workplace and how people think about the future of work. We do hotels. We do big complicated green roof systems. All these sorts of things. A major thing that I have been dealing with is autonomous vehicles and how that's going to change the way that we kind of think about our cities. And a lot of that research, it's looking at history, right? How we kind of thought autonomy might work in the future. This is kind of an idea from the 1950s. And these same kind of things are still kind of on the table today. We don't know exactly where it's all going to go, but this is the kind of imagery that everybody starts to dream up as we think about what does that do to a city. It changes lots of things. But I think the other thing that we need to think about is how it causes redevelopment within cities and how ultimately the reduction in parking needs is going to really significantly change the way we think about our cities. If you think about a freeway, in Houston, we're looking at crazy ideas in the US that, if we start to lose lanes, maybe that creates this idea where there is actually wildlife corridors, weed corridors, as the landscape slowly takes over freeways that we don't need quite as much. And so we started to develop these ideas about this rewilding of the city. People are very interested in that, especially trying to figure out what do I do with this found land and this found open space. So that got me thinking more about how do I take some of this thinking related to things that are actually going on today in Egypt, in the Middle East, throughout this area. So a big part of what's happening here is this suburbification, right, of Cairo. When I first started coming here, there was nothing in New Cairo. We were going to build a university, and there were lots of questions as to whether or not it would be successful or not. Could this really happen? And, 10, 15 years later, this hotel is here. It's it's a city next to a city, right? So that's pretty interesting. What we're interested in, though, is really thinking about nature, right? And this is this thing that we have been pushing, that projects around the world need to start to figure out how to embrace nature in a much more robust way. And these are, articles you can go online and read about it. Health benefits of being in nature, right? It makes you happier, it makes you healthier. Nature is good for your health and happiness. And it's not just because you're outside being active, it's also just being exposed to these kinds of environments changes your psychology, right? Even if you're even doing research on how far away you are from nature, the closer you are versus the further you are, how that impacts your health and your wellness, right? So, this is a garden somewhere in Cairo, right? It's very beautiful. It's lush and it's green, but what's this guy doing? He's outside watering the place, right? So he's outside. He's exposed to that because he has this great garden. If you're an older person, maybe you go out and you don't spend a lot of time outside, you sit down, maybe you watch a lot of TV, right? If you go outside, you suddenly have to do different things, even if it's just very ornamental type landscapes. And the other thing that happens in nature is that you tend to go out and spend time with your family, right? That creates mental changes in the way you perceive the world and the way that you use open space. Egypt, has a rich history of garden design. This is, I don't know, probably 4,000 years old, right? This is a very early, interpretation of what a garden would have been like in ancient Egypt. It probably was very productive. It was probably more of a farm, more of an agricultural type of space, but it still exposed people to this lush, green, beautiful place. I think, one concern I have with kind of a lot of design work that's being done today, a lot of design thinking, and it's not just here in Egypt, it's around the world, is that nature must be grass, right? You go out and mow this stuff, put lots of fertilizer on it, and people can, I guess, kick a soccer ball on it. We like to think that it's more than that, right? There's a rich, rich nature here in Egypt, and I think the goal for people like me as a landscape architect is trying to figure out how to interpret that, right? So this is a wadi. I'm not saying that we need to build wadis and we need to make things like this. What we need to do is understand, what does this mean, and how do you interpret it into a robust landscape? And I'll show you some places where we've done that in the US. This is along the banks of the Nile. It's messy, it's shaggy, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. I'm not sure I want to go in there. But if you take this and you kind of rethink it and you use that as as sort of a design, a response that your design will respond to, it starts to get interesting. So here in Egypt, there is, going back to that rich history of agriculture, this is beautiful, right? Now, I'm not suggesting that we build farms everywhere, but I am suggesting that maybe we should think about that. There is this history, and the history of the lawn maybe isn't the long-lived history that we necessarily want. Maybe it's thinking more about these kinds of spaces and how the people that live in these communities might want to interact with them. We grow grapes, right? It's beautiful. We grow olives. Amazing, amazing groves of olive trees here, right? There's oranges, there's mangoes, all these kinds of things that happen with agriculture here. I think it's something to think about. So in the US, what we're doing, and some of these projects in California, some are in Texas where I live, we take these kinds of ideas, and we're not just trying to say, okay, there's lots of farming in California, so let's therefore have create a farm, and people will live in it. The idea is to take that idea, interpret it, but also make that part of the lifestyle as well, right? So it's trying to insert some of that vernacular landscape, some of that agricultural kind of thinking into the design vocabulary of a place like this. So this is Essencia. This is in Orange County. It's kind of between LA and San Diego. The idea here was to create a place that was very comfortable, very homey, but much more compact, much more dense, right? Everybody in the United States wants a backyard. You have big barbecues, you do all this stuff. When you do that, no one eats up a lot of space. And that might just be used on the weekends. It's not always being used. The idea here was to say, let's get rid of the backyards, and we will make public backyards, right? So this is for the community. You do see some lawn here, right? But that lawn is handled in a very, small area. It's almost like it's been treated like it's a water feature or something, right? The rest of this is much more sustainable-minded planting, but it's also loose. It feels really comfortable to walk through. The maintenance requirements are much lower. It's just a great place to spend time. This is kind of replaces the backyard, the American backyard, right? Everybody's dream there, you gotta have this big backyard. This replaces it. And we did it by thinking about all these different kinds of things that you might do in your backyard, or you might want to have in your backyard. We put them all in these public open spaces, and then it suddenly starts to be pretty interesting. Lots of different kinds of people are accommodated, old people, kids, new families, all of that, right? We have this mix of different income levels that are all living together within this zone. And they kind of come together like this, like you do in a city, and it creates a much more robust user experience. Different kinds of housing you can see that we've laid out and kind of wrap around that central green space. And then we kind of said, look, that green space, we're going to think about it as a home. So you sort of have, a library, dining room, great room, each of these different ideas that you have within your home. We've also kind of reinterpreted them outside, right? So people then intuitively know what to do with them. It's not just a bunch of green, beautiful stuff. It's also a bunch of green, useful stuff. And I think that's the other really important piece of this kind of planning, this kind of thinking. Program it so that people are out there doing all kinds of things, and then that maximizes the use of this area, right? You really can get a lot of use out of it. So you end up with spaces like this. A simple trellis, it's designed with a bit of a kind of farmy kind of vernacular. Kids are out there, it's a bocce ball court, but they're digging in the dirt, doing other things, right? You end up with little follies like this. This is a place that's that the community, people can rent for a wedding, for a big picnic, whatever. It has kind of a farm, American farm kind of vernacular look to it. It's not a farm, but it does sort of have those kinds of bits and pieces to it. And there are areas that are community gardens. So because you don't have a backyard to grow tomatoes or whatever you might want to experiment with, there are places where you can go and do that. There's lots of natural places, so there's trails, and walkways, and all these sorts of things. But you see the density that we've created with the housing prototypes. A different project, so this one also has that kind of vernacular that looks like it's agriculture. New project. It's called the Cannery. And this one has, it tries to kind of mix these nature themes with some of the agricultural themes. So you end up with lots of beautiful planting, beautiful walkways and sidewalks where people can go out and ride bicycles, right? You don't have to drive your car everywhere if you start to plan it so that I can actually ride up a bicycle from point A to point B. But on this one, it's much more about nature. So what we try to do is to take these places that I think in a lot of projects would probably be a lawn, and we said, no, let's convert it into a real natural space. Now this is Southern California. It gets, I think, about 300 millimeters of rain. Depending on the year, Cairo gets 100 to 200 millimeters of rain. The point is you can do these sorts of things here. You also have the Nile River to keep down. But the idea is that this is very low water usage type landscape architecture. You have the beautiful green front yards in front of those homes, right? But then you have this big chunk that becomes nature. We do things with stormwater. This is sort of like the way we oftentimes deal with wadis here. We need to move water from the natural system instead of putting it into a pipe. Suddenly it takes on other uses, right? It may be a wildlife corridor. It may be a place that kids go around and climb around, right? And we have bioswales and things like that that collect rainwater, and when it does rain in Southern California, and clean it up. So we can use it for irrigation for places like this. And this is kind of this mix between nature, there's grapes growing, there are fruit trees, all this sort of stuff is happening within one very tight space. The other thing we do on projects like this is we hire a farmer. So soil is a big important thing. If you just sort of have the guys that are really good at mowing the yards and doing all that kind of stuff, try to make these things happen, it probably won't work. So we've hired farmers, and they come in and they do things like this. They get the plants growing, they keep them alive. But they also sell them to the neighbors that live there. And if you bought into this community, you actually get a box of vegetables that's grown right near your home. This shows up once a week that you can eat, right? So again, you're getting in touch with the land that you can live on through these types of places. And there's big picnic areas, lots of spaces for people to live out. Closer to where I live in Texas, this is called Harvest Green, and it's a project that's very traditional. Those homes are not trying to be farm-like. The layout of this is a very traditional kind of cul-de-sacs and things that you might see in the suburban sprawl of Houston, Texas. But in this overlay with agriculture. We also look for big, iconic moments like this, right? These are kind of crazy things that you see on a farm. across the landscape of Texas. We've used it to brand this project and tie back an industry that is farming where we live. Lots of details, lots of different ways of thinking about these projects. But it always ties back to materials, objects, little places that maximize use. It's always out there. It feels comfortable to be there. It's hot, it's humid in Texas, but with things like this, kids just love. It gets families outside, and they have a great time. So, not everything's about agriculture that we do. That's kind of a growing movement. And I should say the other thing about those projects is that while other projects, maybe that have been built in a more traditional style with lots of mowed grass and traditionally trimmed trees and things like that, a lot of them were struggling. Back in 2008, 2009, when no one was buying a house in the United States, people were buying homes at these projects. And it's because they were different, because they felt more comfortable in these things. So it's not just beauty, it was a real financial incentive, economic incentive for these developers to actually go this route rather than the traditional route. So it's proved out to be very profitable for them. So this is a different kind of project. It's called Cross Creek Ranch. This is all about water. This one is in Texas. And it's about this kind of cycle of water and what we can do with it. A lot of these same sort of things are being done here in Egypt, but it's not, maybe it's not as exposed as it became on this project. So the diagram on the left, there's a home there. Water goes down your sink, your shower, even if you flush your toilet. And it ends up in a traditional settling pond digester system that actually has a sewage treatment facility. But after that, the tertiary treatment becomes part of the landscape. So that scene on the top right, that is actually part of the sewage treatment facility. It's a beautiful pond. It's full of nature. It has alligators living in it. It has endangered bird species who flock to this area. After that, it moves through that system. It's cleaned, and then it's put into the lake system. We have people swimming in the lakes now. We have lots of wildlife. There's canoeing, kayaking. That's kind of the bottom right picture. So this natural hydraulic cycle that humans have kind of interrupted through our needs, right? It's expressed in this community, and people love it. It's that idea of that treatment pond, the water quality basin. When we first built it, it was off on the edge of the project because we just weren't sure what was going to happen with it. Now people want to buy homes right next to this because it is so beautiful. So how do we do it? A lot of it, is soils. It's the vegetation that is in or adjacent to that water as it moves through it. This is a picture of that basin, so you can see. You don't see the spoonbill cranes, but there are beautiful, beautiful birds that are there. But families who do it. Families go out to a sewage treatment facility to take in nature. That is a huge thing because that is a part of our project that now has multiple usage, right? It's not just a single use. It actually is a place that has nature. It does lots of different things. Also in this project, we have places like this. So this is it's a ditch. Cows, would walk through here. It's not maintained. When it rains, suddenly the water would come up, get really rough, just kind of start to erode things. We studied how the rivers really work in this area. What is the meander? What is the shape? All these sorts of things. We thought about nature and habitat within these rivers and creeks, but also how people can interact with it. And ultimately, we took this ditch and we turned it into this beautiful river. And that's just over a matter of a few years. And all it was thinking differently about landscape, about nature, and about how people can interact with it. And most importantly, how this developer can take advantage of that and sell homes again when nobody else in Texas was selling homes. This was a big, big deal. So you end up with spaces like this where people are out jogging, running in the hot, humid air of Houston, Texas, and they love it. We ended up with lakes like this that our irrigation is drawn from, so the water from that water quality basin ends up in this lake. We have triathlons that happen, all these sorts of things. We remind people that we're using recycled water. We don't try to hide it. It's a part of the selling part of this place. I think the other thing that's important too is that what we have found is that on some projects, early on when we first started looking at this, we would do these kinds of landscapes, right? It's tall grass, it's wildflowers. And people would get on the phone and they would call the developer and they would say, hey, you need to mow the grass. How come the grass hasn't been mowed? And if the wrong person answered the phone, they would say, oh, yes, ma'am, we'll take care of it. We'll get right out there. They would mow all this beautiful stuff down. What we found is if you put a sign up that says it's a tall grass zone or it's a reforestation zone, they don't make that telephone call and you don't have the contractor going out there mowing it down. So putting information into the landscape is just as important as the type of landscape that you try to design. So you end up with spaces like this instead of mowed grass. People in Texas, they love their mowed grass just like people around the world do. But we found that they love this even more if you give them the opportunity. It's full of habitat. I mean, I think that's probably the most important thing too, is that there's butterflies, there's birds, there's endangered species that show up once you start to do this kind of stuff. That gets kids outside, gives them an opportunity to learn about nature and to actually get dirty, which doesn't happen very often anymore. Some of the species that we have there. So a different kind of place, this is in New York, and it's in Brooklyn, just across from the United Nations building there. You see the Empire State Building in the background. This is called Hunter's Point, and it's a project that it's more of a traditional park. It's along the Hudson River, and if you can remember, maybe 10 years ago, New York got hit with a Hurricane Sandy, and it destroyed a lot of open space, a lot of homes, a lot of businesses along rivers. So part of the idea here was to create a park. It would also be resilient to that kind of forces of nature that we show up here. So we have also an industrial history here. So the idea was to interpret that industrial history. So rather than taking all the old rail lines out, we use them as a sculptural element, something that adds beauty to the story of this park. There are spaces like this where we do have lawns, but again, we're trying to be very conservative with how we use them. It's almost like a beautiful water feature, but it's a lawn that you go out and lay on. It's surrounded by nature, though, and that lawn also, when it rains, it stores stormwater, right? So rather than just putting stormwater back into the system really quickly, it slows it down and holds it. So we're trying to look for ways that open space can do multiple things. You end up with beautiful architecture like this bridge, but it's combined with beautiful planting and landscape architecture. Set into that landscape are places that people can use. So this is kind of a big, almost like an amphitheater type space that people can hang out in. You can see this riprap along the edge. So if our engineers had their way, we would probably have that riprap all the way up to the top of the bank. So it was a big fight that we had about nature. We need more nature. And we convinced them that there were techniques that we could use. That we use some riprap, and then we can also hide some of that infrastructure behind the planting or underneath it, that we can have the best of both worlds. So all those little things are important. So you can start to see there how the waterfront, the engineered edge, and this resilient landscaped edge all work together to create these kinds of spaces that people can do amazing things with them. So this project in Houston, Buffalo Bayou Park, has just won the Urban Land Institute Global Award for urban open space. So this is in the heart of downtown Houston. It's a big city. It never had a space like this before. That was kind of a big public gathering zone like this. The bayous there, they're really flood control devices. So we had Hurricane Harvey, was that a year and a half ago? It was pretty rough. This place filled up with water, trillions of gallons of water moving through it at a very fast pace. And because of the way it was designed, and I'll show you some of that thinking in a moment, it bounced right back. So in desert environments, we have different types of things that we have to deal with. It's kind of the opposite. What do you do if suddenly you don't have enough water and water is off for some period of time? That kind of thinking needs to be embedded into any kind of planning, any kind of landscape architecture that's being done in any place in the world. So with Buffalo Bayou Park, it's a long linear system run by flood control. We turned it into a park, right? So again, this is this layering of having something that's technically is infrastructure, but suddenly becomes a public park, suddenly has play spaces for kids, suddenly has all these things that you never really thought you might want to do out in the landscape. And most importantly, it's a sort of place of civic pride for Houstonians who never had this kind of space before. So the day that it opened, people were out walking, they're out jogging, they're finding that there was something that they never knew they wanted to do, and suddenly they are doing. So this graphic shows kind of how this flood control thing works. So this is, it's, on the left-hand side is the river at, sort of normal flood stage, or just a normal stage. But on the right-hand side, you see that there's a lot of design thinking that goes into that. There's a lot of engineering. There's a lot of geofluvial morphology that goes into it to actually make it work. So it's one thing to talk about beauty. You know also that if you don't engineer these things correctly, all that beauty you have one day is gone the next. So these meanders, adding people, adding nature, again, we're starting to build up these layers so that after you have all of those kinds of things together, you get a beautiful place like this. So bicycle trails, jogging trails, there's a skateboard park, there's an adventure play area where kids are actually encouraged to go out and get hurt. There's an old industrial water cistern that's kind of on the bottom right in that view. We turned that into an event space. Beautiful place to, it's full of weddings. There's going to be a big philanthropic event in Houston. This is where it happens. This thing was completely filled with water during Hurricane Harvey. It came down, we cleaned up the silt, and it's back to functioning as planned. That's pretty cool. There's bridges, little architectural moments. So I think that's a great kind of takeaway in this view, right? There's lots of nature. Not everyone is completely comfortable out in nature. Some people find it a little disconcerting. Is a wolf going to jump out and get me? But when you start to add these little cultural pieces within it, so that's just a simple bridge that takes you over the bayou. But because it's architecturally has some attitude about it that looks like it's very much planned, it's a thing you can see as you move to it, it's lit at night, that starts to change your idea, right? Oh, it's supposed to be this way. The other thing you can see right along the edge of that trail where the guy's running, there is a little strip of mowed grass, right? It's about, I don't know, a meter wide or so. Because that little strip is mowed, it says, oh, this is intentional. We planned it, it's supposed to be this way. So it's all those little things combined together to make this kind of a landscape something that people are comfortable with. Here you can start to see all these kind of layers. You see the river, you see some lawn, you see a lot of riparian habitat along the river, bicycle trail, jogging trail, little places off to the side that you can meander through and almost feel like you're getting lost. You end up with spots like this. There's also restaurants and things. So we figured out what's going to flood, what is not going to flood. So we actually plugged into nature along the bayou. We figured out how to put a restaurant. This came within 1 inch of flooding. So our engineers apparently did some good calculations when they figured this thing out. And then, at the end of the day, you start to have beautiful spaces like this. That's a big freeway going through the city. People ignore the freeway now. That used to be the only thing you were aware of in a space like this. And now you just see nature in the bayou. So that's my plea, I guess, for more beauty, more nature. I think more layered approaches to how we go about designing landscapes. It gets into the planning of these projects. It's not just about the landscape design. If the master plan doesn't support this kind of thinking, it's very hard to implement it later. However, we do have places where we've managed to do that. So hopefully everybody will go away with a new enthusiasm for nature and what that can do for projects here in Asia. If you have questions, I'm happy to take them. If you don't, I'll move on. Yes?
brought up a really important point, and I think we'll pick it up later during my presentation, because I really wanted to use this forum as a way to question and to sort of reflect a little bit about us as designers and planners and where we're going globally, but also specifically this region. And your presentation confirms to me that largely we're doing the right things, and largely international firms as well as local firms, we have really transformed our thinking in the last 2 decades, so that I don't think it's controversial as much anymore to integrate nature, for example. I agree with you. I was working in San Francisco, and we would get the pushback to say, well, then leave nature alone,
Right.
design, and so on. So I think we've come a long way. My question is, for this to happen really at the scale that you're talking about, and to be successful and to be reflective of what people need, 3 things. One, you've got to have sort of the intention and the plan, and I agree with you. You've got to have that setting, which allows you, you don't want to also go about creating nature where nature doesn't exist in some ways, right? Which is also happening by us as designers and planners, so we have to be careful. Then you've got to have the client that wants to foot the bill for this, because, and I don't mean just direct capital investment, I mean the fact that you'll have to forego commercial, you might have to forego some commercial upside. And then you're going to have the residents who, and that's what getting to my question is, you're going to have the resident that says, okay, I'll give up my backyard. So those 3 things have to come together, and then, like you said, it's a beautiful outcome. So I'm curious if you could comment on that, and specifically the example where people gave up their backyards.
Sure.
Because I've been in the States for so long, I've been here, and there are certain things that are very difficult. I think there's a transition right now because of economics and so on, so I think we are getting there, but I'm curious to hear your input on that.
Sure. So, yeah, you're right. A number of things have to come together for this to happen. And one of those too, and I'll get specific to your question, but one of those also is specialist, right? As a planner, urban designer, landscape architect, I can only take one of these things so far. I need that farmer, right? We need the guy that wants to do that. I need that developer that's really interested in taking a risk and trying something new. And that risk taking on pretty much all of these projects, they were not the standard Southern California or the standard Texas type of development that was done. And those developers could have taken that route, and they would have done okay. But they took a risk, and they did something different, and they did in the end do better. Now that's not always the case. Like you said, it can be an economic downside maybe because you did something differently. So we also work with developers that just want to do the right thing, right? So it's more than just a financial piece, right? But yeah, how do you get then that buyer to think differently? So we try to look at trends, right? And we try not to look at the trend of what people are doing today. We try to look at the mega trends and where they're going 5, 10 years from now. And because oftentimes, if you're doing a plan, it takes that long to get it realized. We know that in the States, people started moving into more urban spaces. And sometimes they were doing that out of the economic need, but it was also just kind of a lifestyle choice. But we also saw that those young people that were doing that, they were getting older, they were starting to have young families, and they wanted to maintain that kind of social glue that they had in those urban spaces, but they also felt that they couldn't raise a family necessarily in some of those urban spaces. Apartments were too small. They didn't have the right amenities. So we looked at that trend. So like, for example, giving up the backyard, those guys, they didn't have backyards to start with. So they kind of had that American dream idea, but they saw that project as I guess a twist on it, right? I can still get the best of that, but I can also not feel so isolated and secluded in that kind of suburban ideal, right? Where you do have the big fence around your home, and it's very daunting to come and knock on the door and visit, right? So suddenly they found a place where they can have both. And I think maybe that's a lesson to be learn there is, one, you got to look at trends, but I think more importantly, if you just try to change everything so that you give up the backyard and there's no payoff associated with it, it's probably going to fail, right? You got to really look at that as though it's this layered approach. Again, how to get both of these sort of things to happen. So they give this amenity if they're giving up something else. Anybody else? Okay, going. All right, so, okay, who's next?